Hey, this is Lewis from Breakdance, and in this video I'm going to show you how to design and build pages using Breakdance's easy-to-use visual editor. So to start things off, I'm going to show how to add elements to the page. We have this add button in the top left. You just click that and it'll give you a list of over 100 elements you can add to your page. You can add them to your page by simply dragging them onto the page, or you can just click. And there we go. That is how to add elements to your page. Once they're on the canvas, this area right here we call the canvas, you can mouse over the edges of them to space them out from each other as appropriate. And then to edit their styles, you just click them and the properties of the element will appear on the left. So I want to make this text a little bit bigger and I want to make it white. So I've just gone over to Design, Typography, and I'll choose my text color there. I can choose a different font family, etc. All the design options are going to be in this Design tab. And then to edit the content of the element, you can either type it in the left Properties panel right here, or you can just double-click and type directly on the page. So that's pretty easy to do. Now the UI is designed to be searchable. So you want to see, or you want to find a particular property for this section, for example. We'll click the section. We want to find the background properties. We just go down to the bottom left to the search box and we can just type in background. And here are our background properties. If we only want to see modified properties, we can click the modified button and this will give us a list of all the properties in the section that have actually been set. So we can clear that out and just see the properties panel as it is by default. You just click on the sections to expand them, or you can go into pop-out sections, which you can move around the screen to keep things clean and out of your way when you're working. You also get this little indicator light on the left side of any section or control, and you can click that to clear the value. If you see the little dot, it indicates the control has a value. So I'm going to clear out the background section here. And now we don't have a background. If I want to put it back, I just go back to color and choose my background color. You can copy and paste elements as well, which speed things up. So I'm going to add a section. I will add into this section a columns element with 3 columns. And I will add in an icon box. And since I want 3 of them, 1 in each column, I'm gonna right click and copy. And then I can right click over here and paste. And we also have keyboard shortcuts, so you can just hit Command-C and then click over here and hit Command-V. And we've pasted it. We also have a way to just paste the design. So let's say I want to customize this icon box, with some different content. But I want to have them all have the exact same styles. Let me customize these styles a little bit. So I will go to icon position. I'll position it. Now we'll keep the icon on top, but we'll make the text of the title a little bit smaller, and we will change the color of the icon to purple, and we will remove the outline. We'll make the icon bigger. Let's say we want to use these exact same styles. Let's customize the button too. Let's say we want to use these exact same styles in the other icon boxes. We can just do copy and then paste design. And that will retain the content and only paste the design over. So it's quick to get things looking good. We have a number of keyboard shortcuts other than just copy and paste to speed up your workflow. To see a list of all the shortcuts, you can hit Command-Shift/ or Command ? And here are all the shortcuts. You can hit Command-A to open the Add panel. You can save with Command-S. We have undo and redo. You can copy-paste, deactivate an element, delete an element, cycle through the breakpoints, which we'll get to in a little bit. Switch between scale to fit and actual size, which I'll get into slightly later in this video, or you'll have to check the documentation for details. We also have some user interface preferences. That's over here on the right side. Open this menu and go to Preferences, and we can choose to disable dark mode. I don't know why you want to do that. Maybe you hate your eyes, but if you're like me and you like your eyes, you're going to want to keep dark mode on. To turn it on, you just go to Preferences, turn on dark mode. There are a number of other preferences too. One of the nice ones that I really like is scaling the page to fit the screen. So right now my screen's not wide enough to show this whole page, and many other builders you'll be side scrolling. You'll have to side scroll. If we disable this zoom option, That's how you have to side scroll. You can't really see everything you're working on. It's quite annoying once you have a lot of panels open. So in the UI preferences, you probably just want to enable that zoom option to keep everything visible at all times. We also have the structure panel. You can open that with this option. That shows you the structure of everything on your page. And of course, you can click and drag things around to reorder them, or you can open the menu to copy, paste, delete, save as global block, duplicate, etc. Let's say I want to undo that. I'll just go to undo. And I also have full history of all the actions on my page. So I go back to how it was a long time ago, or I could go here, or I could go to the latest version. I also have revision history. These are saved revisions. When you save the page and the WordPress database creates a revision. So I could restore an earlier version of this page just by clicking it, or go back to the current version by clicking that. But I'm going to keep what I have right now. I'm going to delete this section, close the history panel, and now I want to show off the layout engine of Breakdance. So in Breakdance, it's easy to create horizontal and vertical layouts. The layout engine is powered by Flexbox, and you construct your pages using sections, columns, and divs. So I'll delete this section with the delete key and start fresh by opening the add panel, and let's add in a section. And in this section, let's add in a heading and a button. Let's go back to the section by clicking the section. And if I want to lay out this section, the elements in this section, I just go to the section and I can control the layout of all the elements in the section at one time. I can align them left, I can align them center, or I can align them right. Let's choose center alignment, and then let's click the heading and give it some spacing. If I made this section full height section, or taller, for example, I made the height viewport height, and then I want to vertically center items in the section, I just go to vertical align, and I can choose top, middle, or bottom. I'm going to choose middle for purposes of this example. I can also use the gap control to add uniform spacing between all of the elements in this section. So if I wanted at least 50 pixel spacing between all of them, I'd specify a 50 pixel gap. And even if I didn't have any spacing on the heading, right, no margin like that, I'd still get a 50 pixel gap. That's powered by Flex Gap. Great feature. This is the modern way to do things. Let's clear out the layout options now, and let's create a horizontal layout. So here I am in the section. I'll go to the horizontal pop out, open this up, and I'm going to choose to align the items with space around them. And then vertical align, I'm going to choose middle. And let's make this section not so tall like this. And now I have a horizontally laid out section. Now I want to show how to do responsive design. So typically, responsive design just means making your layout stack vertically as the screen gets smaller. So in the top center toolbar, I have the responsive dropdown where I can see all of my different breakpoints. And in preferences, you can add unlimited custom breakpoints. You just go to breakpoints, and you can go huge screen, and you can add a custom breakpoint, and then you can set your widths. For example, only bigger than 1200 pixels, all the way up to 3000 pixels. You can choose a default preview width, preview to 3000 pixels, and save my breakpoints. And now my custom breakpoint will appear in the list. And this is what my site would look on a 3000 pixel wide device. But I don't need any custom breakpoints right now, so we're just going to work with desktop and the built-in breakpoints. That should be everything you need for 99.999% of websites. This is all you need. Anyway, here we are on desktop. Let's go down to tablet landscape and see how it looks. Still fine, but let's imagine this heading was longer. This is a much longer heading. Eventually, it's going to get a little tight. Let's go down to tablet portrait. And now the heading's wrapping. This isn't quite what we want. So we're going to stack this vertically. So we chose a horizontal layout on desktop, but now we want to choose on tablet portrait to stack vertically. We just go to vertical at. We're going to choose the layout's going to stack vertically on tablet portrait. Now we can use our normal layout controls to align things vertically. We'll just keep it centered, and let's add some gap to space the items out. And there we go. Now we have a horizontal layout on desktop and a vertical layout below tablet portrait. We can also edit individual properties on smaller screens. So this text is, it's okay here, but once we get down to phone landscape, it's a little bit big. So let's make it smaller. So we can just go to font size. We can choose desktop. This is our desktop font size. But let's say we want to go down to here and make it a little bit smaller. We can make it smaller. Say we want to go down here. We want to make it really small. We can make it really small. And there we go. Different sizes on different devices. And all the properties you'd want to be responsive are responsive. You could also, if you're more advanced, you can use VW units. We have a number of custom units here, so you can do PX, %, EM, REM, VW, VH, and even custom like clamp or calc. So you could set this to say, you clear out the responsive styles and just set it to 10 VW or 5 VW, and then the text would always be 5 viewport width units. And as the viewport gets less wide, the text gets smaller. It's another way to do responsive design if you are more advanced. Okay, that's the basics of the layout engine. Again, you have sections, you have columns, and if you're a more advanced user, you have divs, which are just one div. Let's look at the HTML. It's not 16 divs, it's just one. I'll add an element to prove that right now. Let's add a heading in there. And here is our heading, here is our div. And then here is our section and section container. No divception here. And you can create anything you want by combining these divs if you're more advanced. Let's now show off the design features. So I'm going to go back to the revision history, and I'm going to pull up the page back when I had this breakdance section on the page. We're going to clear this out, and let's show off some fancy background features for the section. So of course you can do images and gradients, but how about video backgrounds? Yep, you can do video backgrounds. Let's paste in a cool video background I found on YouTube. Let's paste that in, and now we have a YouTube video background on our section. We can add an overlay on that background. So I'm going to add a purple overlay that's semi-transparent, and now we got the video background coming through with the purple tint. Let's clear out the video background options. Let's add a slideshow background. So I'll just do add item and select my images. And now I have a nice section slideshow background. Of course, we can't read the text anymore, so let's go to overlay and add in a black overlay that is semi-transparent to darken those images. It's a nice slideshow background. We can also do shape dividers on our section. Let's go to dividers and let's add a shape divider. Let's add, what kind of shape do we want to use? We could do balance 2, we can make it white, and let's position this at the bottom of the section. And then let's get rid of the overlay here. And let's choose a different background here. We just go back to a purple background here, and let's add another section. There we have a nice section shape divider. We'll make the background of this white as well. There we go, shape dividers. We also have blend modes and CSS filters. Let's go back to the state of things when we did have that slideshow in there. And if we wanted to apply some kind of CSS filter to our overlay, we could do that. We go to effects, we go into filter, we could blur things, make grayscale, rotate the hue. We could do different blend modes like screen, overlay, dark, and light, and color dodge. I'm not going to do that in this video just because I don't know what these all do off the top of my head. This is some pretty advanced Photoshop level design stuff. But if you know what you're doing with it, we've got it in Breakdance. We also have some nice gradient features. You can use gradients in a lot of places you wouldn't expect. For example, gradient text. So let's add some text to the page with a heading. Let's make it nice and big so we can see what we're doing here. And let's go to effects, typography effects. And we're going to choose a gradient fill for our text. And our gradients are pro level. You can have an unlimited number of stops in your gradient, not just 2. So let's click the left stop. Let's make it red. Okay, let's add another stop right here, and we're just going to go full rainbow mode. Orange. Let's add another stop right there. Yellow. Add another stop. Green. Another stop. Blue. Another stop. Darker blue. Let's go purple. Violet. Pink. Getting back to the beginning there. There we go. There is our gradient text. Let's change the angle of that so we can see our nice rainbow That green's looking awfully bright. Let's turn it down a little bit there. Yeah, green's a really bright color there. That's a little better like that. Give a little more there, give a little less there. And there we have our beautiful gradient. We can also do a radial gradient here. Just choose radial. I'm going to stick with linear though for this rainbow effect. And then let's add a text stroke to this text. We're going to do 2-pixel text stroke. We're going to make it black, and then we're going to make it semi-transparent. Let's make it a little bigger stroke. Let's go. Let's do a 4-pixel stroke, 3-pixel stroke. That looks pretty nice. Gradient text. Type anything you want. This is not an image. We are on LSD right now. Okay, we're going to delete that. Let's go to take a look at some gradient buttons. So you can add a button, and you can choose custom for your button styles. And for your button background, just choose gradient. Let's do a radial gradient on this button. We're going to go black, and let's go black there, and kind of fading in the center. Cool, we got a radial gradient for our button. You can also do gradient icons. So let's have an icon. Let's make it nice and big. Icon size, let's go bigger than 80. Let's do 200 just so we can see what's going on here. And for the icon color, we'll just choose linear gradient. And let's make the top color a nice pink. And then let's make the bottom color kind of a purple. And then let's spin the angle around here until it looks how we want. We'll do pink on top, purple on the bottom, just like that. There we go, gradient icons. So that's pretty nice. And when you're using icons, you can choose icons from our existing icon library. There are a number of decent icons in here, Font Awesome free. Or you can upload your own custom SVG icon sets. You can export symbol desks from iCommune or the provider of your choice. Just drag SVGs right here, and you can put them in an existing set, or you can create your own new icon set. In addition to custom SVG icons, you can do custom fonts. So if you go over to Preferences and then Custom Fonts, you can add a font. You enter the name of the font you want to add, and you can add it, and then you can upload your font WAF or WAF2 files. It also works with fonts in external CSS, so any provider that hosts your fonts for you and gives you a font CSS file, like typography.com, Adobe Fonts, previously known as Typekit, or really any other provider, just give it the CSS URL. I'm going to show how to do this right now. Let me see if I still have this URL in my history. I don't, so I'm going to get it real quick from right here. You're never going to have to do this. You're going to have the URL provided to you by the provider. But okay, here's the URL. I'm going to delete these fonts, and then I'll show you how easy it is to add them in. So you hit Add External CSS and use fonts in External CSS, and you're just going to paste in the CSS URL that contains your fonts and hit Add, and Breakdance is going to download and read that CSS, determine what fonts are available in it, and add them to the fonts dropdown. So here are my fonts from Adobe Typekit. Let's hit Save Fonts and close that. And now I can use those fonts in my font dropdown. Let's find source. I need to. That is a bug in the alpha because I already had these in here and I deleted them. So now I'm going to have to reload the builder, but that might be fixed by the time you're looking at it. It'll definitely be fixed, in a couple weeks from now by the time we ship the second alpha. Sorry about that. Let's refresh and go back into Preferences, Custom Fonts, and okay, they're there right now. Let's go to Typography, and here's our font, Source, and the other one was Futura PT, and there they are, looking great, working nicely. All you have to do is paste in your CSS URL. We also have animations. We have entrance animations, scrolling animations, and sticky animations. So let's add in a heading. Let's add in some columns just so I can demo these. I'll do a heading. I'll do some text. We're going to center these vertically and horizontally, and then I will add in an image. And let's put that. This image looks good. And let's add another section above that. I hit Command A to open the Add panel, press Enter to add the section, click and drag to get it up there, because I just want to be able to scroll down the page a little bit. So we're going to make this section 100 viewport, just so we can scroll, and just to keep it looking clean, I'll center all this stuff and give the section a background, just so we can see what's actually happening. Now let's create some animation settings on these columns or their content. So let's go to the image, go to settings, go to animations, and let's have an entrance animation. On entrance, it's just going to fade in. Let's slow down that duration to 3,000 milliseconds, and let's go to heading, and on entrance, it's also going to fade in. It's going to slide in from the left, and the next text is also going to slide in from the left. So we'll go settings, animations, entrance animation, slide left. There are a number of advanced animation settings here too. We don't need them. We're just going to delay this one slightly so it slides a little bit after the heading slides. Let's scroll down the page now and preview that. There we go, nice animation. Fade in, slide in, slide in. Let's see that one more time. There are our nice animations. Okay, we also have scrolling animations if you want to do some crazy stuff. So let's duplicate this again. And in here, I'm going to add in an image. Let's choose a different image this time so we don't get too bored. And let's make this a little bit smaller so we can see what's going on. So I'll just give it a 600 pixel width. And now let's go to settings, animations. And as the page scrolls, we are going to move the image. We can fade it in. We can say when we start, it's faded out. In the middle, it's not opaque. And then at the end, it's fully transparent. And as we scroll the page, the image will fade in and then fade out. Let's add another one of these sections so we can scroll. And let's scroll down. I scrolled too fast. All right. It's lost track of things. It's another bug in the alpha. That's okay. I'm just going to refresh the builder to show this. We'll have all these issues ironed out during the alpha period. So whenever you find issues with various things in Breakdance, let us know. Our aim is to clean all this up. We built the thing with Vue and TypeScript, so it's very easy for us to go and fix these bugs. But anyway, here is an animation happening the way it should. It fades in as you scroll and then fades out as you keep scrolling. We could get even fancier. We could go to animations, scrolling animation, and let's rotate it. Let's say it starts at -90, in the middle it's 0, in the end it's 90. As we scroll down the page, the image will rotate. We can even make the image move as we scroll down the page. We could do all sorts of things. We could blur it. Let's move it. Let's start it way over there, and then let's end it. Start way over here, and then end it way over here. And take a look. Whee! It's the reason it's cutting off is because the section actually is only this tall, so we should probably make the section a little bit bigger. Look at that. Crazy stuff. Animations. We also have mask shapes. So if you wanted to mask this image, we could go into the design options and under, where is it? Effects. We could choose a mask and we could make it a waves. We could do all sorts of stuff. And we just got this piece of house flying through the sky. Okay, that's cool. We have different units. I already covered that. PX, VH. Not every dropdown obviously supports every unit, but when applicable, they're supported. PX, EM, REM, VH, VW, custom. We also have some great global settings features. Don't forget to check these out. These are huge for saving you time. I don't want to spend 20 minutes covering it in this video, but you have global colors. You can set your brand color. It'll take effect everywhere. You have a color palette, so you can add colors that you can reuse. For example, maybe I want to make this a global color. I'll just call this, nice purple, and save it. And now we have a global color that we can use anywhere. So let's say we want to add a heading, and we want to make the heading that color. There's our global color. And when we edit the global color in our palette, well, better give it a white background there. When we edit the global color in our palette, it takes effect everywhere the color is used on all the different pages. We also have typography presets, so you can create your typography styles here in presets. You could, big, certain heading, whatever. Let's make this, big, this font, that weight. And let's say we want to use that preset. Let's choose this heading right here and choose preset 1. And now our text is going to use this preset. And if we edit the preset styles, it'll update the text everywhere it's used on every single page. So that's a great feature, great to make your designs consistent. Check out our global settings video for more details on all the great stuff in global settings. So we have global form settings, global WooCommerce settings, global button settings. It's really awesome. It's going to save you a ton of time. To wrap this video up, I want to mention a few advanced features that we have. We have classes, custom selectors, and wrapper styles. So for example, let's say you want to put a class on an element. You just go, you click the element, you go over to settings, you go to advanced, and you can add a class. I'll call this my class, my nice class. Add that class, and I can edit the class and just edit all the different class properties. Save my global settings before I open the classes. Edit the class, and here we go. I can now, I have the full power of CSS here in a visual interface. I can do size, I can do layout. We have, block, flex, advanced layout options, z-index, overflow, absolute positioning, flex child controls, everything you want, we got it in here. Let's add some padding here. And then, of course, if you know what classes are, we just reapply this class to other elements to use the exact same styles. If you don't want to add a class and you still want all this power, though, you can just go to wrapper, and you get the same options on the element's wrapper, which is usually the only tag in the element because we don't do any divception here at Breakdance. We also have wrapper hover styles, so if you want to customize the styles on hover, you can do that in here. You can choose a custom HTML tag, a custom ID, you can add HTML attributes, you can write custom CSS, you can do what you need. We have a code block element. If you want to get super advanced, you can write PHP code in here, echo hello world. There we go. You can do custom CSS, custom JavaScript. You can put HTML in here. You can add some global stuff if you close out your selectors. Ooh, that was a bug with that display. We'll fix that soon. If we go to global settings and then go to code, you can add style sheets that apply site-wide. You get a big, nice editor for your CSS. You can pop any of these code editors out and make them nice and big. You can also write JavaScript directly in the builder. All right, go to breakdance.com to learn more about Breakdance and take a tour of the rest of the features. Thank you very much for watching.